believe their lies. You know, they really, really believe that for some reason they can do things a little bit differently, you know. And our first up to bat, you know, we're gonna talk about this guy because I had made damn sure that I had kept old Bashar's name out of my mouth. Once they said the beef was squashed, Dave told me, man, you know, he don't want no more trouble, and, you know, he falling back, you know, we gonna let this whole thing go. Y'all shouldn't be beefing, and by the way, YouTube, I'm on YouTube now. But, you know, y'all shouldn't be beefing and all these different things. Well, I let it go. You know, I let it go. I did everything I could to let it go, you know. Then I see he comes up and Bashar makes this attack on the Dline page, you know. And I don't know, you know, I don't agree with everything that's said on Dline radio. I mean, not on Dline. Well, sometimes I don't agree with the shit that's said on here. But I give everybody their voice because we are a community. It's not dictated by me. It's not dictated by Dave Wilson or anybody else. You know, this is a community that is supporting something, you know, and that support should be respected. So, you know, the guy comes on there and it was something about the lady, and I forget, I think her name is Vivian, but the lady from Italy, you know, very nice lady. I met her at Nationals, you know, and nothing but, you know, nice things to say about the lady. You know, very, very polite, a very good handler, and very easy on the eyes. She's a pretty woman, and, you know, and I love to see women be able to do, excuse me, I'm going to scoot up a little bit. But I love to be able to see women do their thing in this thing, you know. And but the article itself wasn't an attack on her. It was just bringing up the fact of how everything seems to be sort of a clique in the ABKC. Everything seems to be some type of clique in the show world in general. So with that being said, you know, things start going awry. And a character like Bashar comes on there and he has the nerve. And Bashar, you should tread very lightly. Very lightly. I'm not going to go into detail on this show, but I will say this. Bashar, you should tread very, very, very lightly when you get to talking about attacking women. And you should tread very, very lightly when you make accusations that people were out to disrespect women. Come on, brother. That's the type of water that you don't really want to walk into. We'll just leave it at that, and you know what we're talking about. So you stop it. This is what I mean. You know, and I'll be some of y'all can read in between the lines or whatever, but you know, most of y'all can read in between the lines, but this is a character who has a lot of nerve to be going out and saying anything about people disrespecting women. You know, when you make those accusations, you have to stand on them, and you have to say that you're the most upstanding individual in the world when it comes to that, and you are not. Second of all, Bashar comes out and he talks about the dogs, and people are just disrespecting and this, that, and the other in the dog community, and this, you know, with his little accent, you know, he's a salesman, people. Understand this. And understand when I say he's a salesman of the ultimate type, because I've had many people now report back to me that they were very dissatisfied with dealing with this guy. They got dogs that weren't in the greatest of health and other issues that went along with this. And this guy pretty much was a piece of shit. Puppies coming in not the greatest condition and different things of that nature. And you guys can put your own business out there, but it's out there. People have complained about the man, and they say he's a puppy mill. But this is what I tell y'all. Why are y'all falling for the bullshit? And this is it. People have told y'all about this cat for a long time. This guy made an interview. He was in the interview where he said he does not care about this breed. He does not care about dogs. This is a business to him. If it's all about money, without the money, he would not be here. So with him saying that without the money, he would not be here and he does not care about this breed, how can anybody respect that? You know, he attacks people who say that this breed should be better. He attacks them. He says all these things about them. But this is the same individual that has been involved in more controversy, dog controversy, than anybody in the American Bully game. We're not talking about made up stories where people try to slander him. We have taken his own words and looked at him out the side of our eyes like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Let's not forget, to all the listeners who don't know, this is the same individual who owned Mr. Beans, who at Nationals, when it was brought up that Mr. Beans was struggling mightily just to walk around, and there's pictures of him rubbing the dog down with ice, which most steroid users, which the dog was obviously on roids because he had nuts the size of Skittles, but most steroid users will know that, you know, too much oxygen in the blood gives it. The dog was getting a massive ass pump just walking around the ring. That's why he was stiffening up. The dog was so muscular, it was incredible. He was like Ronnie Coleman in his prime. But when he started walking around the ring, the dog was literally so juiced up, the dog was getting a pump just walking. Just walking. The dog didn't have no testicles. I said this weeks before Nationals, and everybody laughed like, oh, you bullshitting, because they had never paid attention. See, sometimes, and it's not to say anybody's stupid, but when we look at dogs and we looking at studs, we don't look at their balls. We checking out the dog in every which way. We never really pay attention to the dog's balls. Nobody cares about the dog's balls. But once I made the statement that these dogs, a lot of these super muscular dogs in the American Bully world don't have balls, then it became an issue. Then people start talking about it. Then you start paying attention. And at Nationals, you can see people ringside, because I had a booth right there by the ring. You know, why? Now y'all confused. I've been told y'all the dog didn't have no testicles. I've been told y'all that these dogs weren't naturally muscular. So y'all went for the sales pitch. Y'all buying puppies for $10,000. Y'all falling into the hype that you're going to resell it. And then y'all wondering why there's no Dynasty kennel that came after Bashar's muscle tone. All of the people who spent big money with Bashar with muscle tone, you know why they're not making no money? Because they don't know the secret sauce. For one, you have to be a massive salesman and know how to market all around the world. For two, you have to put your dogs on the juice. The look is not genetics. Keep in mind, y'all, a big part of his yard is my blood. I know one thing about my dogs. Yes, they do carry nice muscle. Denzel, at his highest weight that I had him, was about 78 pounds. And he was pretty massive for a little guy. But to constantly see muscle like that compounded, that's steroids, man. The dog was just gigantic. Couldn't breathe, was having all kind of troubles. This was the second time that I seen him had to be cooled off in an air-conditioned building. I repeat, in an air-conditioned building, he had to be cooled off just from taking a walk around the ring. But y'all spending 10 grand on that shit? And y'all proud of yourself? And then I talked about the flaws of the dog, which he obviously had a high rear and some other little shit. He didn't want to be there. You know, high rear always leads to a slope down back, that Evel Knievel ramp that we talked about. You know, stiff in his movement. You know, his temperament was that of hanging his head and looking sort of sad. And he probably was miserable. You know, he probably was miserable. You shoot up a dog with that much shit, he will be miserable. You know, many people in the circle have said it. The steroid of choice, Sustanon. But this guy comes out and he's going to tell the world after he proclaimed he don't care about the dogs and it's all about sales and I'm here for the sales and I'm this. Now all of a sudden he's the moral high road. He's taking up for women, which most of y'all women, if y'all really knew what he was about, y'all would spit on the guy. But now he's doing all this extra shit. You know, this is a guy who takes cars to shows and brags about how much money he makes off of dogs, but then has complaints because he's got 4 dogs to a kennel. And when it was video clips from his kennel, now I know shit that I'm making up. This ain't rumors. The facts is out there. Y'all go check it. Piss and shit all over there. You can see the actual stains. This is not being cleaned daily. This is not being cleaned daily. He's piling dogs up. You can talk about you bought a Lamborghini, but your dogs in your facility is basically not clean, and you got dogs stacked up on top of each other, and there's issues with mange, and there's issues with other shit. You sending out puppies that have pneumonia and different things of that nature. But yet and still, you a super dog man that's speaking up for the community. The only hate that this guy has against me and my compadres is just the simple fact that we say, hey, do the dogs right. I don't care. If you making the best dogs in the world and these are top quality, healthy animals, man, if you can get $5 million for them, I'm up here clapping. because you making a quality product that's representing our breed to the fullest. If you was like the Tibetan Mastiff people that had a $6 million sale, I would applaud you if it was of that quality. It's not about the money. I don't care about your money. I've been hustling ever since I was a teenager. I had my own spot when I was 14. And money has not been the biggest issue in my life, you know, but I love these dogs. That's why I do what I do on a daily basis. You know, it could be other things that I could be doing, but at the same time, I got mad love for y'all. I got mad love for the bully community and the people who had the same passion that I have. So when I see a hypocrite like this guy come on there and try to act like he's about the dogs and keep on really preying on unsuspecting people who don't do enough research, it makes me sick. Then you have people who try to stand up for him and they're just as stupid, because at the bottom line and the end of all ends when it comes to this dogs is this guy is garbage. He told y'all out his own mouth he does not care about these dogs. So what is the problem with us saying that fuck him, we don't care about him? What is the problem with us saying that he don't care about the dogs? That's the funniest shit when I see people try to defend what he has to say. He said he doesn't. I didn't say he said he don't care about the dogs. He said the shit. I'm just repeating the facts. It's on video. Go look it up. This guy is a character, man. All of the people that he's dealt with that's on the low just saying fucked him. And it's not about he did bad business this way or that way. He's sending them fucked up dogs. It's just that simple. It's some other shit that floats around out there, but he's sending them bad dogs. I've been telling y'all forever to ask about who Mango is. I know the guy that he sent him to. I know the guy does not like him. You know, period. I know the guy don't like him, period. You know, threatened to fly up there to whoop his ass about sending him semen that was supposed to be off Magoo, and it was a dog named Mango. You know, this was not a dispute where he disputed with his veterinarian. I told y'all before, I had to drop a veterinarian because they sent some bullshit semen and then tried to turn around and, you know, to cover their own ass. They was talking shit. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No. I've dealt with fucked up vets before, but this wasn't that situation. This guy's a con artist, you know. And then, you know, he spawns off characters like that little guy Khan. And this is why y'all, you know, we gonna keep it real on Bully Ranch tonight. It's nothing personal. I don't know Khan on a personal level. I don't care to know him on a personal level. I'm just saying, I actually care about the American Bully and the American Bully game. So when I hear a guy go around and do the things that he does in such a tasteless manner, it's ridiculous. If y'all ever see this guy on anybody's post on Facebook or wherever, it's different celebrities or whatever. It's a difference between marketing and just straight up puppy milling. This guy brags about studying his dog out. He's just like Bashar. Oh, I studied my dog out 6-7 times this week. How are you finding, you know, quality 6-7 quality females that should be bred every single week? I'll wait. You know, and then there's also the little topic of some imaginary guy who has the same name as him, the same type of dogs or whatever, that was involved in over 70 dogs being confiscated. And the word was put out that it wasn't him. But we never could find the identity of this man that had his same name with 70-something dogs in the American Bully community. And nobody knows the guy, but he has the same name. And the investigation, my homie called and double checked it, fact checked it. They said, oh, it was in another city. In the real report from New Orleans of the confiscated dogs that had heart issues, that not only were heart murmurs, but also serious issues of heartworms at this puppy mill. The investigation spans from New Orleans, well, Louisiana. It's all the way from Louisiana to Chicago. Who's from Chicago? The guy who never wants to address the issue and just made up an imaginary, oh, that's somebody else. Y'all tell me, even if you're new to this, how many guys do y'all know in this community that, first of all, are Filipino cats? Because the Filipino cats are not super prevalent in this breed, and the ones that are well known. So how many, you know, Filipino cats do y'all know in this game? And they that deep in the game that they would have over 70-something dogs at one location. I'll wait. But then the coincidence is it just so happens that they have the same name as this character who runs around and starts a lot of shit and is a known puppy miller himself. I'll wait. See, that's the problem with our community. I'm not here to just bash people. I'm telling y'all, smarten the fuck up. Ain't nobody. Ed Shepherd has never blessed anybody to make them a superstar kennel. Bashar has never blessed anybody to make him a superstar kennel. George has never blessed anybody to make him a superstar kennel. All of these promises of making investments and that you will turn around and you will become a great breeder and be able to push off and get, you know, 5, 6, 7 times your money you invested back and this and that and the other. That's just a dream. It's a Ponzi scheme. That's all it is. In the wake of these guys who make all these promises are hundreds, maybe even thousands of puppies that are unhealthy to the point that we will never see them and they will never see the light of day. Have y'all asked yourself the question, even with Rocco, this guy brags weekly about, oh, I'm counting my money. Ha ha ha. I'm counting my money. I sold this many studs. I sold that many studs. Have y'all ever done the mathematics on this shit? Let me point this out. If you are doing even 2 to 3 studs every week, and you bragging about all the studs that you've done, all the breedings that you've done, and this is a great stud, a great stud. If this is a great stud, where are the puppies at? Now that's just a young guy, like, well, young in the game, like Khan. That's just a young guy. Let's take it a step further. Let's look at a guy like Bashar. Where are all these great dogs at? This man at one point said he had 6,000 dogs, 14 kennels worldwide. This is what he said. I ain't making this shit up. He said he had 6,000 dogs worldwide. This is what he says. He's the best in the world. He's got 6,000 dogs worldwide. You know, this is the same man who at one point in time said basically the ABKC runs through me. He said that. I didn't make that up. He said that. They all have to come to me. That's what he said. So, Khan is from the Philippines. I done messed that all up. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm drinking because I actually knew that shit. But you know, Khan, you definitely don't see a lot of guys from the Philippines in the game. You don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of guys, period, in the game who has 70 something dogs. I do want to correct that because I knew that and I'm just going through this shit and stressed. But hey, I thank my homie for correcting me on that. He's Filipino. But the one thing about it is this. You know, he's easily identifiable. You know, the couple Filipino brothers, which I've dealt with several of them, Khan says he's an OG in the game, but his crew, several of them, I sold them their first bullies, so we can do the mathematics on that, on how he's a super OG and he knows everything, but his guys bought their first dog from me. But anyway, I digress. These guys, you know, when they talk about all these dogs and all these things they're doing, y'all ever notice it always leads to the same thing. If you're doing this amount of breedings, where are the puppies? I'm going to tell you where the puppies are at. In a couple weeks, y'all see. They're at the fucking dog pound. Go to your local dog pound and go and see what you see in there. You see exotics / American bullies. You don't even see American pit bull terriers anymore. You see exotic / American bullies all in the dog pound. They make these false promises. They puppy mill to death. They sell a few dogs here and there, but you don't see the products. If you breed that freaking much, by now you should have a dynasty of badass dogs taking over the world. You don't have it. That's basic mathematics. This is why things don't add up. This is why things do not add up. But the American bully community has got so saturated with puppy mills that it's basically tearing everything down. And at this point in time, I'm going to tell y'all this. This is not my thing. But there is several prominent people that still show ABKC, that's still trying to make it over there, that are setting up their own boycott of the ABKC. And literally is going to be going around the internet, passing a petition and asking people to stop going to these shows. This is not my thing. I promise y'all that. I put my right hand up. It's not my thing. This is somebody else's thing. But they already called me on it. Because I don't go to a lot of shows anymore. But they said the level of politics have gotten so bad that they are ready to totally boycott this registry and never deal with them again. Never. Or else, that's the but. Or else they want to see some changes, you know. And the changes go along with this. And then now we'll transcend into this. And then within the next 10 minutes, Nature, the first caller up, I'm going to click you in. And we're going to click in Bobby Deans and get him going because he's on the line. But I want to get these points out so we can hear people's true opinions on this shit. This thing right here is where it's a killer at. Y'all tell me about this. And where's the ethics? Because now we taking gloves off. Y'all wanted gloves off. We taking gloves all the way off. We going to do this shit bare knuckle style. Ooh, I love it. Now, over the last couple months, I've noticed, and I've never had a personal problem with any of these people, but I've noticed a nice group of ABKC judges that don't like what I have to say or whatever. They've went as far as to do things like, you know, the little idiot Khan, he makes a shirt that says fuck Terrell, whatever. But you have these people commenting on there, oh yeah, I'll take 2 or 3 of those. I'll do this, I'll do that. Now keep in mind, I've never said anything about these people personally. I talk about dogs. You know, I talk about dogs. Unless we take it to another level. So when I see these people make these remarks and they got this animosity, I ask myself why. But then it, you know, just like Bobby, I do a little research, and what I've come to find out is this: when the word politics come up, you have to, you know, draw some lines. That's the way politics is. You can't be political just by yourself. You got to have some associates in this politic. That's why it's called politicking. We all out here together politicking. So, excuse me. So we take a look at this, right? Y'all take a look at this. Look at the roster of ABKC judges. Start drawing lines. I'm going to tell you, these are some of the lines that you can easily draw. And I hit a nerve. And I was just saying that this shit wasn't right. You know, back in the old ABKC and stuff, we had like almost unwritten rules. If it was your homie or whatever, you don't show under your homie. You don't, you really don't do that, you know. And especially if it's a kennel partner, you don't do that at all. But now you have kennel partners that show under each other. They can be in the same group and they show under each other. And this thing is, it's not because they're needed to be there. This is something that they're just doing. But even more alarming, and this is where the big problem comes, because a lot of people have called and asked me, why is it that Bashar was never like, basically why hasn't anything been done with him about the ABKC and the way he acts and the way he does things with the ABKC? Well, let's draw some lines. There are many, and I do mean many, ABKC judges that have either used studs to him, are planning on using, doing business with him, or also already have his dogs in their yard. I repeat, many of these judges have already done business with him, and he has had them, he sold dogs for them. They've done business in many different ways. They deal with this guy on a heavy basis. This is why you start to touch nerves. Of course, we have we have people who are showing under their kennel partners and stuff, and they get, they get a little bit touchy, because I'm talking about, I'm just talking about keeping the shit above board in the ring. I'm not talking about your at-home life, your personal life. I'm talking about keeping it above board in the ring, and that's touching nerves. But then we can take it to the very top, and I'll tell y'all this, and this is the truth. Y'all heard it yourself, and hey, Bobby will pull up the clip. But somebody once upon a time asked Dave Wilson, like, well, why don't Bashar get in trouble for some of these activities? What about the DNA testing on this dog and that dog when it became DNA testing issues? And one of the issues was one of Bashar's former kennel partners or associates came out with pictures and showed some of the dogs that he had hung papers on, and where he had used French bulldogs and different things to add into the dogs to sort of, make it stronger case that he was screwing over the breed and doing things that, he shouldn't have been doing. Dave Wilson's answer was, if you don't trust the guy, then don't buy a dog from him. Now, come on, man. Come on, man. If it was that issue, if you being the head guy and all these things, why is this guy not being brought up on DNA test if somebody wants to pull him up on the DNA test? You know, it's interesting. It's interesting, but that's the political aspect to it. But you might say, why would one say that? Well, then you have to draw the lines. And this is where me and Dave sort of went, you know, we had to go toe to toe on it. I heard him out. But the truth of the matter is Demon Boy is from Bashar. Bashar, of course, is, you know, the Demon Boy's father is one of off of one you know, is off of one of Bashar's boys. So, you know, once again, you got to draw the lines. You know, no matter what Dave says, I've always told him, and I still to this day, I say, Dave, it looks fishy as fuck. Your whole career has been about you being the king of Razor's Edge and you being the Razor's Edge leader of the world. You are Mr. Razor's Edge. That's honest. He is Mr. Razor's Edge. And now you don't have a Razor's Edge dog, but you're promoting a dog that comes from the most controversial person in the bully world that says he don't care about the dogs. That's weird. It's weird as fuck. Not only is it weird, but then the more weird thing is originally Dave said that the plan was to show the rest of the bully world how to breed those type of dogs. I mean, it's a nice thing to say, but since Demon Boy has been around, what we've seen off of the Demon Boy era is much what Bashar does. Heavy promotion, t-shirts are made on him, a bunch of hype, you know, to pump the dog up, and attempts to sell studs. It's been nothing about him being an ambassador for that type of dog in the breed. It's been more so like he's a promotional tool and money maker. You know, we saw, you know, we won't go into that again, but, you know, it was the same way with his son, World Star. World Star hit the scene, a nice little puppy and everything. But once again, it became, to me, a promotional thing. The dog off of the owner of the registry's dog becomes the youngest puppy ever, which they did work hard for that, the youngest puppy ever to become a champion. You know, at 6 months old, he was a champion. He beat all the other dogs. And then he became, you know, basically a phenom that was all over the world. That's why it was such a big deal when he died. But the thing about it is the community themselves asks, well, what made him so special? What made him so much better? And you draw lines. His handler is a part of the biggest show group / judges in the ABKC. And the dog's sire is owned by the head of the registry. So he blows through all the competition. He becomes this international superstar. And people will have questions. That's why I think some things have to be hands off. You know? Now, after we say that, let's not forget the correlation that goes back to Bashar. And then we talk about Bashar again to where the question, and if y'all, for y'all, I'm looking directly at YouTube because YouTube is the only one I'm on tonight as far as my radio people go. But I've asked this question many times. I've left it out there. For all those hating people from the ABKC that say they hate me, I talk too much, whatever, you know, fuck you, first off. But second of all, I've left this one question. Sometimes you don't want to say too much. I can say whatever on the show, but for the public, I've asked this one question, and I've asked judges, you know, like my good, my brother, I ain't gonna even say friend, my brother Ruben has said, he just messaged me, you know, you have judges that are saying we sacrifice structure for bulliness, which is absolute nonsense. But how could a dog like Mr. Beans, and I'm gonna give y'all this rundown, and this is me, 20 years of experience. I'm not bragging, but I'm telling y'all the truth. Judged all kind of places. You know, first ever ABKC champion was mine. First ever 3 registry champion was mine, bred by me. You know, a national champion. I have some credentials. I'm not telling y'all I'm the best, but I'm not stupid to this shit. Well, this is the question that has to be asked. A dog like Mr. Beans, who is basically cowhawked, who basically has a high rear. No dog can have a high rear and still have a good top line. That just really doesn't exist. You know, the high rear is going to throw off the top line. So we're talking about 3 flaws right there. You know, then the dog a lot of times refuses to perform. Not just refuses to perform, but to the point that on one occasion at least, his owner came out of the crowd, which is definitely illegal, and drug him around the ring, and the judge gave him a first place ribbon. You know, I seen it with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? I seen it with my own eyes. Man, I seen it with my own eyes that this individual actually, you know, they allowed him to wear a cape. And it's always been debated what the cape was about. Somebody says the cape was because another one of his dogs who had horrible conformation, looked like I've been riding his back all his damn life, Casablanca, he had some pictures that basically destroyed his career. People took some pictures of what he actually looked like at a show, spread them all around the internet, and we really never saw the dog again after that. They destroyed him. That's when they came along with Beans. But they say he puts a cape over the dog because he doesn't want people to take, you know, pictures while the dog's not properly stacked and all that. But then other people have identified the cape as a cooling cape, or one of those thunder capes that, you know, you keep them cold and it keeps the dog cool, you know, or whatever. I can't verify either way, but I will verify this is as long as I've been showing dogs, and I have been to AKC events, I used to breed Rottweilers and actually tried my hand over there for a second. I've never seen where you're allowed to go into the ring with a cape. I've never seen where you're allowed to come into the ring and drag a dog around. The dog's front end movement is off. You know, the fact that he a lot of times just he doesn't want to move in the ring. They have to sort of pull him. You know, what I'm telling you right now is basically he has 6, 7 flaws that are very identifiable. And on the day that I went off on him, he actually beat the 2014, I think it was, 2014 Nationals champion, or 2015. I think it's 14. I think it's 14. Yeah, Nationals champion, Sweet and Low. You know, he beat her. Not only has he beaten her, but he is a grand champion. You know, he is a grand champion. So with all of that being said, this dog has beaten several very, very good quality dogs. He has destroyed several very, very good quality dogs in the ring. Can someone explain to me why? How could a dog that is obvious he has conformational issues, it's obvious that the dog possibly has health issues, it's to the point, and I will tell y'all this, that lack of having testicles, from which is obvious steroid use, is a reason that the judge, and just because it's not written in the standard like that, doesn't mean that the judge can't take it upon themselves to, you don't have to dismiss the dog, but you're definitely not supposed to give them to him, because you're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to see these things. But this dog has all these issues going on, and he's constantly being given ribbons. Now, this is the kicker of it all, though. Remember, and I talk all over the place, so I have to sort of reiterate. Remember, his owner is the guy who has connections with the owner of the ABKC, which has a dog from him, which many of the other judges have done business with this guy also. So when you see these people getting mad and wondering why a certain dog wins so much that has no business winning, and you draw these lines, that's politics. They saying, how is it politics? How is it politics? When all of y'all are in cahoots doing business with each other. Oh, I forgot. And John Easterly can verify this. And there's one judge in the ABKC that verified it for me. I won't put her out there. I won't put you out there because I keep my word. But this man is also known for going around and trying to pay the judges before shows to buy out things. You know, and when I say things, I'm talking about titles. But John told him to kiss his ass, and John would come on here and tell you that flat out. And one thing I've never known John Easterly to be is a liar or to blow a story up. John told him flat out, kiss my ass. But this man with no hesitation at all, had no problem asking, hey, can I do this for you or do that for you? And it's funny because when he goes to shows, you see him kick it with certain judges. Now imagine that. This is politics. Do y'all feel that it could be fair that a guy could be out, he having drinks, he kicking it with these guys, he's doing breedings with these guys, then his somewhat deformed dog comes into the ring and he beats dogs that are of higher quality? This is greatly rumored to be, and that's not just a rumor, but I've heard from very, very reliable sources, the reason that Ron Ramos decided to leave the ABKC. That's why the whole video was made. And that's why, oh, Ron's leaving to go spend time with his family and this, that, and the other. Then like 2 weeks later, you seen that Ron was judging for somebody else. Yeah, he wasn't. He was tired of the politics. He was tired of people telling him, you got to pick this dog because of this, and we going to push this dog, and we going to... It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. It always has been, you know. Bobby doesn't lie when he says that the registry itself has been picking winners for a long time. You know, has been picking winners for a long time. I mean, it goes back to some things back in the day. And I'm not telling y'all that Dave was always privy to it, because a lot of times Dave is somewhere else. These judges run rampant. They do their own thing. They have their own things going on. That's just like, you know, the thing with Ty Lumley. He talk about sacrificing structure. No respectable judge anywhere in the world would ever tell you to sacrifice the structure of your animal to achieve any other qualities. The number one rule to dogs in general is never sacrifice structure. Whatever else and whatever means you have to get get this dog, you never sacrifice the structure. Well, this is what their judges is promoting. The reason they're promoting it is because all of the guys who have good money and are making good money in these dogs have dogs without good structure. I like Rocco's bulliness. I will tell y'all that. But Rocco doesn't have the best structure. His feet aren't the best. His top line is definitely not the best. He's slightly high in the rear. And I'm just being honest. I would not consider him a train wreck. I just wouldn't consider him a show winner. Because if I can count out 4 or 5 different flaws on you, then I have to sort of be like, okay, man, ain't no way you can win. Not alone be a grand champion. You know, oh, hey, Ruben, I already know about her. You know, she's got a lot to say, but I'm going to tell you like this. One in particular, ABKC judge, she needs to watch her mouth. She does. She needs to watch her mouth because some people want to say some things about her. And I've stopped them on several times. I've stopped, you know, and when y'all see me break off like that, I got messages coming from everywhere. Right now, I got 2 computer screens, 3 phones. So I'm reading. That's why my eyes, I'm not on meth or anything. Now, if you see my eyes going every which way, it's just me looking at all these messages. But yeah, it's certain judges that always got something to say. But if you put them on the spot, I want them to answer that question. Let's talk. We don't have to get into the salacious behavior that we know that goes on late night. We don't have to get into that. But what we do have to get into is, how can a dog like that win a grand championship? I've often asked the question of how can a dog like Rocco, who has those flaws and has one ultimate flaw that we've always looked down on as far as being in the show ring, a kink tail. How does he go to Europe and become a nationals championship winner with the kink tail and a high rear? You know, where's the, you know, and now we see more and more judges kissing up under his ass because the guy is making money. He's doing his thing. But how does that happen? See, it's not that the community is making these stories up. It's basically that at this point in time right now, as we evolved with this breed, we are seeing more and more people who are just getting fed up. Because the one thing, and before I start taking these callers, and I have went way over, and I do apologize to y'all that I have gone so far over, but it was a lot to talk about and a lot to recap on. But one of the biggest problems that we've always had in this breed is this. A true lack of ring integrity. And the show ring, as you know, my newfound buddy Robert Ellis has said, which he is a very good handler, and I mean, the guy's got experience. I got nothing but respect for him. The show ring is where we pick our breeding stock. This is supposed to be the place that, this is like our church, you know, not being sacrilegious or anything. This is the dog church. When you go into that ring, that is the church. Take me to church, baby. And once the integrity is lost from the ring to where people continuously see week in and week out that it's something to debate about the dog that's obvious that the dog shouldn't won, like lack of performance or certain structural issues or different things that people see, it tears the breed down from the inside out. Because once that place is lost, that's the only thing about a breed that keeps it intact. You know, the simple fact that it's going to be some integrity, and you're going to look at the judge, and you know, in other breeds and other places, those judges just refuse to embarrass themselves. Our judges don't care, and they don't care at all. You know, we've seen over in Europe where, you know, literally they had to call off a whole part of a show because a judge decided to pick a dog who had a back shaped like the upside down McDonald's arches. You know what I mean? And these guys wasn't having it. These guys damn near tore the spot up. And so the show host, I think that was Ireland. Matter of fact, I think the show host was the guy, Dave Wilson's partner with Demon Boy. You know, he just waved off that whole thing and canceled it. But see, they were a little more vocal, I guess. They was ready to tear the club up. But this has happened. And it continues to happen. I'm going to tell y'all like this. I'll post a picture. And I don't care who gets mad at me. This is dogs. If you got personal issues and you want to do all that, you know, hey, it's whatever. I don't get intimidated, you know. Everything that you can do, I can do too. So don't try to threaten me. Don't try to tell me how big you are. And yeah, I'm going to take a small interlude on that shit too. For some reason, and I'm going to remember right where I was at, but I'm going to stop. Give me 30 seconds. For some reason, people always want to tell me how big they are. You know what I mean? We got guys, oh, I'm 300 pounds, or I'm 270 pounds, or I'm this, or I'm that, and you don't want to talk to... First of all, let me tell you something about the science that I come from. It don't matter how big you is. I wasn't talking about whooping nobody's ass or nothing like that, but I will remind some people of this. I'm not the easiest person to intimidate. I've stepped in the ring in front of a few thousand people with a skilled professional that was trained to knock my head off and had no problems with it. You know, I've done that a few times. I often, you know, on a couple times a week, I deal with guys who are some assassins with belts that are black plus some extra colors, and I get choked out. So what? I get choked out, I get in arm bars, but I get my little shit off, and I'm learning at that. I'm not going to be intimidated. And the one thing about you people who are doing this now, I don't understand it, but it's a new fad. I don't care if you 7 foot 400 pounds, or I don't care if you 6'6" and 290 pounds, or if you this and 375. The surface on your chin is, you know, roughly, you know, 6 to 8 inches. That's all I can tell you, you know. I'm a little guy to you guys, to you giants that's trying to intimidate me. I'm a very small guy to you guys. I'm only 5'10" and a half, 5'11", depending on who doing the measurements. I'm only 230 pounds, you know. I'm only, you know, and I'm trying to get skinnier than that. But the one thing I can do is generate tremendous force. I've been fighting since I was 8 years old, you know, and I mean the real type of fighting, not just street fighting. You're not going to intimidate me. I still bench well over 500 pounds. I still squat over 700 pounds. I am an athlete. And if you think that you just talking crazy is going to intimidate me, hey, you might knock me out. You might be a bad motherfucker. You might do that. But trust and believe, I do have faith that if I touch you one good time, all 375 pounds will drop. Now back to this dog. Now back to this dog. I don't want to get too far off into the intimidators, but I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm not going to be intimidated. There's a lot of people who want to hear the truth that I try to spit, and I got two special people coming on very like right after I make this point. I'm going to stop dragging the show out. Everybody on YouTube, once I go to there, I'm going to click off of YouTube, but the link is on the other thing. Link in. You can do it same way you're on here now. You can link in and listen to it on the radio, or you can call the number, which the number is actually on the link too. But because it's sort of, y'all gonna see me just sitting here for like 5-10 minute spans while other people are talking, so I don't want to waste y'all time. But I will tell y'all this: the best dogs supposedly in the breed, I've seen a lot of them, and they're insufficient in a lot of ways. It's not to pick on these dogs. I like these dogs from some levels, but I've seen some shots of El Toro from the side. His top line is not that great. You know what I mean? I've told y'all about Mr. Beans. I've told y'all about a lot of the dogs out here. You know, Rocco's not that great with it. You know, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. And the one thing I say, you know, and everybody on the radio, I'm basically talking to my YouTube people because I'm telling them goodbye. The one thing I can say, if y'all want to know where my opinion is and what I'm trying to do with this breed, is I'm just trying to make it fair for everybody. I don't care if you a 60-year-old woman, which, believe it or not, I have sold a couple puppies to older ladies who just, you know, they like this style of dog. They like something, it makes them feel secure, but at the same time a very lovable dog that's not super hard to control because it got some damn common sense. But, you know, if you're a 60-year-old grandma and you decide, you know what, I'm going to just pick this up as a hobby to come in here and show my dog and have fun and meet new people, you're welcome. Your dogs are welcome. My goal is to get it back to a community where everybody is welcome. I don't care what race you are. I don't care how old you are, what tax bracket you fit in. I'm all about unity and being professional enough to let people win. That's it. I'm not trying to get rich off of this. I've got other things going on that'll take care of my family. I care about the dogs. I don't care to try to be the dog god and have everybody think that I'm the greatest thing ever. I am just a voice that, you know, for whatever reason, and thank God, people decided to listen to what I was saying about these dogs. And I'm always going to try to give y'all the direct knowledge that I've gotten over these past 20 years. When we do start our registry, which will be very shortly now, we making some progress, I heard today. But it's all about bringing people in and letting people not only learn, but compete on a fair level. You know, it'll be a totally different environment. It'll be more about learning, and the cliques and the groups, they're more than welcome to come out, but you won't be supported as a clique or a group. We're only there to check out your dogs, and if your dog happens to be the best dog that day, you will win. But if Granny got the best dog that day, she will come out of nowhere and she will shock us that day because her dog will win. It's about being fair. The one thing that we understand, and I am wrapping this up, I know I'm long on every damn thing, but the one thing we understand is this. Your $20, $25 is no less important than anybody else's. Your time that you take to wash your dogs, to take care of your dogs, to buy your puppies, to buy the puppy food, to show them love, to practice with them stacking is no less than anybody else's. You shouldn't have to kiss anybody else's ass. You shouldn't have to go pay a handler because this handler knows somebody. You shouldn't have to do any of these things to become a success. The only thing you should have is the best dog in the ring, and let that best dog represent who you are. That's it. We want shit to be fair. We want shit to be upstanding. And most importantly, we want to have fun. We want to get the kids back out here and so they can have their fun. And just a community that's got a lot more love than this hate. And I'm going to tell you the truth. The hate has never been about the dogs. The hate has been about the inequality and the politics and the bullshit that this registry and the people around this registry have done to use it for their own personal gains. Over the last 10 years, a lot of people have made a lot of money, but the dogs and the community has suffered because of it, because it has been no ethics and no real attempt to make this breed better. YouTube, I thank you for your time. I'm going to actually be back on here tonight because I got a few little announcements to make, and hopefully we'll get the real bully rant videos up tomorrow or whatever. Hopefully the internet is back up to speed. I do live in hurricane area, but God bless all of y'all, man. And like I said, you can click in on the link and listen to the rest of the show. I thank y'all for your time and always your support. God bless. Peace. All right, now